So he said I was just a walking heart attack ready to happen.
And the virus traveled to my heart and weakened it, and so the rest of the pregnancy just kind of tanked it.
That they would never know the pain of having to recover from open heart surgery. And
I've been particularly interested in one group, the repaired tetralogy of Fallot patients.
I had never had any health issues. The pregnancy was beautiful. I felt fantastic throughout the whole thing. Never had any complications, so I was very surprised. In the third trimester, I noticed I was getting very out of breath when I tried to do anything. So it was my husband and I and my newborn son camping for a week in the beginning of August around my birthday. And we were visiting an aunt and uncle who had a cabin too. And going through there and trying to do everything, and I felt miserable. And so we ended up stopping at the ER because I was really not doing well. And the ER, when I told them what was wrong, they checked to see if I was having a heart attack. And so they ran a whole bunch of tests and confirmed that you're not having a heart attack. And they said, go see your primary when you get home. Checked me with, I think it was a stethoscope that she was using, and noticed an abnormal heartbeat. And so called in a cardiologist. Explained to the cardiologist what was going on, kind of the history, and he says, I know exactly what's going on. You have heart failure. And I'm going, what do you mean heart failure? I'm 36 at the time. This can't be. I've never had any medical issues. And he sent me home also. And I was sitting on the couch, and I felt horrible, just continually feeling worse. Couldn't control my body temperature or anything, so my mom grabbed her home blood pressure cuff, took it, and it was dangerously low. So she called 911, which I don't want to go in, I don't want to go in. You know, I've got baby, like this is the last thing I want is to be taken off somewhere. And never having experienced anything like that before, I was terrified. And they wanted to do an emergency surgery because my heart was apparently pumping at 11% of what it was supposed to be. It was not easy. I was very grateful for the care that they were giving me, and that my parents were there to help with my son. And they pretty much brought him to the hospital every day to see me. It wasn't the same though. I can't pick him up. I can't take him on walks. Well, it's been 2 years since I've been able to do that. I know I freaked out at that idea, and it was very difficult to kind of process and understand how that goes. I had the LVAD for 10 months before we got the call. So we got it, we were very excited, terrified at the same time. I think my mother-in-law was there at the time to help with, she was visiting to help with Dominic. And it was so hard for me not to go up and wake him up. I wanted to go wake him up and tell him that we're leaving, but I let him sleep. And I remember, I think it was only 2 weeks after the transplant, I remember going, I feel incredible. I don't remember the last time I felt this good. Because I finally had a major working organ that functioned. So the biggest one really is my arm. Like, I'd love to get my arm back, because once I can control that and strengthen it, then there's so many more things I can do. And I'd love to be able to walk a little bit more confidently and steadily, like outside. But it'll come. It just takes a lot of time.
And after that, as I was going through physical therapy, I came into the office one day and the girls asked me, how are you feeling today? And I said, kind of off. I don't really feel right. And they said, well, what do you mean? I said, I don't know. I just kind of feel off. And so they told me to sit down, and they took my blood pressure, and my blood pressure was like 200 over 100. And they called my wife to come get me, wouldn't even let me drive. And we went straight to a clinic and did an EKG. And they said, yeah, there's something definitely there on your EKG, but we don't know what. So I'm laying there recovering from that, and gentleman walks in and says, yeah, I'll be doing your heart surgery. I said, what kind of surgery is that? And he goes, you're having a bypass, at least 3 triple bypass, but we'll see when we get in there. So I had the weekend to get ready for the surgery, do all the workups and all, and then Tuesday morning went in for surgery and had a quadruple bypass. I mean, I thought for the longest time I was just out of breath, that I was out of shape. And come to find out that I was close to having a heart attack. I was pushing myself just by walking the dogs.
These are folks who were born with heart defects, had life-saving and corrective surgery, but 20, 30 years later can have arrhythmias. In terms of what I'm doing in the lab, the new advances are really beautiful maps of the heart's electrical workings that help us understand why arrhythmias happen. And we have really sophisticated ways of annotating both the amplitude of the electrical signal, how much electricity is moving through, as well as the speed in which it's moving through. And there's implications for who's going to have arrhythmias based on the speed of the electrical signal here. The American Heart Association has a long history of supporting really groundbreaking work in electrophysiology. The work that has been supported has been sort of the fundamental questions. Why is this arrhythmia happening? I think that nearly every patient that we interact with in the congenital heart disease team really has the opportunity to teach us something more about human arrhythmias. And so for me, it's working in an environment where there's enough time and resources to step back after each case and really investigate them. And that's what our partners at AHA and other research organizations help us do.
Getting up that hill, even if I have to stop like I did the first year, and it's just an amazing feeling. And then crossing the line and everybody cheering, it's great. So it keeps me going.
But yeah, I was so excited. The following year, I was able to participate. It was emotional, but I was very happy to be there. Just everything I'd gone through, and not even thinking I'd be able to get to a point where I could participate. And my son walked with me the whole time.
We want to give our patients who had these amazing surgeries as kids the longest life as possible, and that involves studying their hearts and understanding how to keep unusual but pretty significant events at bay. And I want people to know how much it helps us and helps patients, and how proud we are to partner with folks who are also curious about what our future can hold in medicine.